The shocking case of Lucy Connelly, who was sentenced to 31 months in prison for a tweet. Now, she is actually the wife of a Tory councillor, and it was on the night of the Southport massacre, when the country was obviously at unrest. There was riots kicking off, and a lot of people went to Facebook and X, formerly known as Twitter, to vent how they felt because of what was actually going on in this country, when everyone, or the majority of people, were fed up with what was going on, and people were venting on X and Facebook, and they were given sentences that, in my opinion, can only be classed as diabolical. Now, I will read the tweet that she put on, which she did actually delete. After she took the dog for a walk, she came back and realised she maybe shouldn't have put it on. She was angry and she took it off. But someone had actually screenshotted it and obviously phoned the coppers and told them about the tweet. So this is what she actually put. Mass deportation now. Set fire to all the effing hotels full of the bastards for all I care. I feel physically sick knowing what these families will now have to endure. If that makes me racist, so be it. Now, when you read that tweet, obviously she's venting and she's saying mass deportation now. What is wrong with saying that? That's how she feels. Obviously, all these migrants that are coming over illegally, she doesn't agree with it. So she says mass deportation now. Nothing wrong with that comment. Then she goes on to say, set fire to all the effing hotels full of the bastards for all I care. She didn't incite in that comment people to go and do that. She said set fire to them for all I care. That, in my opinion, or anybody reading that, does not mean incite people to go and do that. She's saying she doesn't care if that's what happens. Yes, maybe she might be a bit, or not being very sentimental towards them, saying for all I care. And she says, I feel physically sick knowing what these families will now have to endure. The families of the Southport massacre, which the whole country felt exactly the same after that had happened. We all felt physically sick, thinking what the parents are going to have to go through after that. And I will go back to that comment when she said, for all I care. That is not inciting. I don't know what defence team she's had telling her to plead guilty. She's pled guilty and received 31 months inside of prison. That is absolutely diabolical, receiving 31 months inside of prison for putting that comment. If she had put on, go to the hotels now and set fire to them, then yes, she's inciting violence and it is out of order, because you will be sent to prison if you are telling people to go. But she has not, in one comment on there, told people to go to the hotel and do it. So she has actually been diagnosed with PTSD, which she's never fully recovered of, because she suffered a tragedy in 2011 when they lost their firstborn. And Harry aged just 90 months after poor NHS trauma, a trauma for which Lucy received a diagnosis. And she has also been refused compassionate grounds to go and see her husband, who isn't very well. And she's in prison for something like that, which trivial if you ask me. And she's been refused to go and see her husband, who was obviously very poorly. To me, that is unjust. That is unfair. 31 months. She's clearly not a violent person. She's a loving, caring mother and husband who has a job. Her husband was a Tory councillor, and yet she's been branded like a terrorist. She's been made out to be something she's not. She was not inciting anything in that comment and on that tweet. And whoever screenshotted it and sent it to the coppers to have her arrested and took away from her family for venting out on a fucking post, which the majority, well, not the majority, a lot of people did do it. A lot of people done it when they were intoxicated as well. They've been to work, they're sitting getting drunk, they've went to Facebook, and they've put comments on which they've deleted when they've realised what they've done. But these idiots have went and screenshotted them, sent them to the coppers so that they can get arrested and sent to prison. Ordinary law-abiding citizens who've never been in trouble in their life putting comments on there which is not inciting anything. And Keir Starmer with his two-tier is sending them all to prison. It's just beyond belief, if you ask me. I mean, Peter Lynch, 61-year-old, who was sentenced to 2 years and 8 months, never been to prison in his life, a law-abiding citizen. He was out with a placard, was not inciting violence whatsoever. He was sentenced to 2 years and 8 months, never been to prison in his life, couldn't handle it, in fear of what was going to happen on the prison wings, being branded a racist, shitting himself, didn't know or couldn't see no other way out, and the poor bloke ended his own life inside of prison. And this is just one of the many stories of people who've put Facebook posts on and been sentenced to prison. It's absolutely outrageous. These people need to be released immediately and kept in the community on community-based conditions. These could have just been put on a tag and made an example of. That would have been enough for them, but no, they had to be sent to prison to lose everything, lose their family, and in Peter Lynch's case, rest in peace, lose his life because he couldn't cope with prison life. He wasn't born for prison. He's not someone that can handle prison. Same with Lucy Connelly. That poor woman is in prison when she should not be there. She can't be there to support her husband and her kid. The poor woman is suffering inside a prison for a tweet. How outrageous is that? Let us know what you think, people. And the reason behind this video is because a lot of my subscribers have been requesting it, saying, please, can you do a video on this? Lucy Connelly, rotten inside of prison. She could do with a lot of support, and I do believe her details are on Facebook. I will try and find them and put them in the comment section. And if you do care and you want to write to or send Lucy an email, which I'm sure she will be grateful of, you can do. And when she is finally released and her licence conditions are up, I will get her on this channel and we will talk about the inhumane conditions that she is suffering inside of prison. But I will leave that one there for now. People, hopefully you are still enjoying the content. And you know the drill. If you are enjoying it, remember to comment, like and subscribe. Take care, everyone.